Oh, wait.
They do have it. Hey, Chad, you were right. They do have a spell for that. Don't worry, we're gonna fix those warts for you. I promise. We found it here. Good. Oh. Hello. And welcome to part 2 on my series on phobias. Those sinister specters that haunt our nightmares. From colrophobia, the fear of clowns, to spectrophobia, the fear of one's own reflection. Phobias can affect... Guys, you told me you fixed the chair. I brought this up in our last meeting. I said it keeps falling. You guys said, don't worry, we got it. Clearly you didn't get it. It just fell down. Who was in charge of this?
I don't know. We're not really.
Nobody? Nobody's gonna speak up. Okay. Great. I guess nobody does anything. And you know what? While we're at it, what is going on here? The lighting, the backdrop, the creepy music. We did this already. This was part 1. Part 1 was supposed to be creepy. It was supposed to be scary and ominous. This is part 2. Everything is more lighthearted, funny, comical, humorous. Can we do something with the lighting, change the backdrop, anything?
I mean, we're not really sure how to do that.
You don't know how? What? It's literally your job description. This is why I hired you. To do this, because I didn't know how. You said you did. You know what? You know what? It's easy. Oh, jeez. I'm okay. I'm okay. It's just my spine. I'm fine. I guess I won't worry about the lighting. Somebody needs to fix it, though. Okay. Guys, who read from the Necronomicon? Which one of you? I said there is one book here we do not read from. Did you ever wonder why there was a job opening here? Huh? The last person read from the Necronomicon. We do not read from that book. Now I gotta banishment spell. Okay. By the power of Mamaru, I banish thee, O spirit of bad vibes. With a flick of my wrist and a sassy snap, I cast thee back into the fabulous beyond. Begone, you spooky specter, and take your outdated clothing with you. So mote it be, in the name of all things fierce and fabulous, gay men. I think it worked, guys. If I catch any of you with that book, so help me God. Welcome to part 2 of Phobias, the Fear of Silliness edition.
Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, Error 404, Mental Health Not Found, your one-stop shop for all things mental health. As you may or may not already know, this is episode 2 in my series on phobias. This week's phobias are going to be much more lighthearted and funny than the previous ones that were a little more serious, a little more creepy. So I hope you enjoy these phobias as much as I enjoyed making this video. But before we dive into those phobias, let's get our logistics out of the way here really quick. I am not a doctor. I am not a mental health professional. I am not a therapist, a counselor, or anything of the like. I cannot prescribe anything for you. I cannot diagnose anything for you. Please do not ask me to do that because I cannot. Everything I talk about on my channel is either coming from my own personal experience or I am finding the resources of actual mental health professionals out there and providing links to those in the show notes to be able to provide you with the best and most accurate information possible. As always, if you guys have any notes or any updates or any corrections that need to be made, please feel free to let me know. I am happy to add those to the notes, any corrections or anything that may be not quite right. Just let me know. I'm happy to take care of that. With that said, let's get this marathon of phobias underway. Oh, jeez.
Up first on our list of phobias is pognophobia, the utterly absurd fear that one day, while peacefully minding your own business, you'll be ambushed by a gang of unruly beards, each one more menacing than the last. Imagine walking down the street innocently sipping your coffee when suddenly, out of nowhere, a wild beard appears, lurking behind a bush or peeking out from the shadows. For the pognophobe, every encounter with a bearded individual is a heart-pounding game of Russian roulette, with each follicle-packed face posing a potential threat to their sanity. They live in a perpetual state of high alert, scanning the horizon for any signs of facial fuzz, and ready to make a break for it at the slightest hint of stubble. But it's not just the real-life encounters that haunt the pognophobe, oh no. They must also contend with the onslaught of bearded imagery that bombards them from every corner of modern society. From the billboards to magazines to the hipster-themed coffee shops, there's no escaping the relentless march of the bearded brigade. And yet, amidst the chaos and confusion, there is a certain comedic charm to pognophobia. Picture a grown adult armed with a can of shaving cream and a pair of scissors, ready to do battle with the dreaded bearded demons at a moment's notice. So, let us raise a glass and have a razor-sharp toast to the pognophobes of the world. May they conquer their fear of facial hair and emerge victorious on the other side. And remember, the next time you see someone sporting a particularly impressive beard, spare a thought for the poor souls who live in mortal terror of such follicular finery. Number 2 on our list of phobias is nomophobia, the spine-tingling, sweat-inducing, heart-pounding fear of being separated from one's beloved mobile phone. Now picture this, a grown adult reduced to a quivering mess at the thought of being more than an arm's reach away from their trusty electronic companion. Their fingers twitch, their palms grow clammy, and a cold sweat breaks out as they contemplate a world devoid of notifications, likes, and emoji-laden conversations. In the throes of nomophobia, every beep, buzz, and ding becomes a lifeline, a reassuring balm to soothe the frazzled nerves of the afflicted.
They clutch their phone to their chest like precious treasure, casting weary glances at anyone who dares to approach lest they attempt to pry it from their grasp. And the horror of a low battery warning, the very thought sends shivers down their spines, prompting frantic searches for the nearest power outlet or battery pack. Social gatherings become a battleground for the nomophobic warrior as they navigate the treacherous waters of conversation with one eye glued to their screen lest they miss out on the latest Instagram story or Snapchat streak. They feign interest in the mundane musings of their fellow partygoers, all the while itching to make a swift exit and return to the warm embrace of their digital sanctuary. But fear not, dear viewers, for even in the depths of nomophobia, there is hope. For what is life if not a series of comical misadventures and absurd predicaments? So, let us raise our glass high and toast to the nomophobes of the world. May they never run out of battery, may their Wi-Fi always be strong, and may their thumbs never tire of endless scrolling. After all, in a world as chaotic as ours, a little digital dependency is nothing short of a modern-day survival tactic. Number 3 on our list of frightfully funny phobias is turophobia, the irrational, cheese-induced panic that strikes fear into the hearts of lactose-laden souls everywhere. Imagine a grown adult, trembling like a leaf in a cheese grater aisle, eyes widening in sheer horror at the sight of a perfectly innocent block of cheddar. And yes, dear viewers, turophobia is real, and it's terrifying to behold. In the clutches of turophobia, every cheese platter becomes a potential minefield, every pizza a veritable house of horrors. The mere thought of grilled cheese sandwiches sends shivers down the spine of the afflicted, sending their stomachs churning. They eye the cheese counter with a mix of fascination and dread, like a lactose-intolerant moth drawn inexorably to the flame of a cheese fondue pot. Social gatherings are a symphony of squeamishness for the turophobic individual as they navigate the perilous waters of cheese-based small talk with all the finesse of a lactose-intolerant ninja. They smile politely as their friends extol the virtues of Gouda and Brie, all the while plotting their escape to the safety of a dairy-free haven. But even in the midst of turophobia, there is hope, because life is just a cheese platter of absurdities and lactose-laden laughs. So let us raise our glass of lactose-free milk and toast to the turophobes of the world. May their cheese dreams be few and far between, and may their crackers always be served sans fromage. After all, in a world as cheesy as ours, a little dairy aversion is nothing to be afraid of. And that brings us to number 4 on our list of phobias, allodoxophobia, the irrational dread of opinions, the mortal terror that grips one's soul at the mere mention of differing viewpoints. Imagine a person so adverse to the exchange of ideas that they break out in a cold sweat at the sight of a well-meaning nod or an innocent thumbs up, fearing it to be the precursor to an onslaught of opinions. In the world of the allodoxophobe, every conversation is a minefield, every statement a potential grenade of differing perspectives waiting to detonate in their fragile psyche. They navigate social gatherings with the grace of a bull in a china shop, tiptoeing around topics like a cat avoiding puddles lest they inadvertently stumble into a debate about the merits of pineapple on pizza, or the proper way to fold a fitted sheet. Now, picture a group of friends engaged in lively banter, their voices rising and falling like a symphony of discourse. Suddenly, the allodoxophobe enters the fray, their eyes wide with terror as they desperately search for an escape route. They cling to their neutrality like a life raft in a sea of opinions, praying silently for the conversation to veer back to safer shores. But alas, there is no refuge to be found in the tempest of debate. The allodoxophobe is buffeted on all sides by the unrelenting storm of differing viewpoints, their sanity hanging on by a thread as they struggle to maintain their composure in the face of overwhelming opposition. And yet, amid the chaos and confusion, there is a certain absurdity to be found. For what is life without the clash of ideas, the spirited debate that makes us all so human? So, let us raise a toast to the allodoxophobes of the world. May they learn to embrace the cacophony of opinions with open arms, or at the very least, invest in a good pair of noise-canceling headphones. Number 5 on our list of phobias is anti-diaphobia, the utterly irrational fear that somewhere, somehow, a duck is watching you. Yes, dear viewers, you heard that right. A duck. Those harmless, quacking creatures waddling about in ponds and parks. But for the anti-diaphobe, every puddle becomes a potential surveillance device, every quack a sinister whisper in the wind. Imagine waking up in the dead of night, bathed in cold sweat, convinced beyond all reason that a duck is lurking just beyond your window, its beady eyes fixed upon you with unwavering intensity. You pull the covers up to your chin, but even in the safety of your own bed, you can't shake the feeling that somewhere out there, a duck is silently judging your every move. The anti-diaphobe lives in a constant state of paranoia, casting suspicious glances at every feathered creature that crosses their path. They avoid parks and ponds like the plague, opting instead to spend their leisure time indoors, safe from the prying eyes of those insidious waterfowl. And yet, amidst the absurdity of it all, there is a certain comedic charm to anti-diaphobia. Picture a grown adult tiptoeing down the street, eyes darting nervously from side to side, convinced that at any moment they'll come face to face with their feathery nemesis. So, let us raise a toast to the anti-diaphobes of the world. May they conquer their fear of ducks and reclaim their rightful place as masters of their own domain. And remember, the next time you hear a quack in the distance, it might just be your friendly neighborhood duck offering a word of encouragement from afar. Number 6 on our list of phobias is olophobia, the comically irrational fear of flutes. Yes, you heard that right. Those innocent fluty tubes that produce melodious tunes that send shivers down the spine of an olophobic individual faster than you can say woodwind. Picture a grown adult, eyes widening in terror as they spot a marching band quickly approaching, armed with their deadly instruments of musical destruction. In the clutches of olophobia, every flute solo becomes a symphony of horror, every piccolo a tiny shrill nightmare. The affected individual cowers in fears at the thought of a whimsical flute serenade, their ears ringing with the phantom echoes of Jethro Tull's greatest hits. And social gatherings are a cacophony of terror for the allophobic soul as they navigate the perilous waters of polite conversation while keeping a weary eye out for any unsuspecting flautist lurking nearby. They recoil in horror at the sight of a pan flute, their hearts racing like a frantic fugue, in a minor key, of course. But what is life, if not a whimsical waltz of absurdities and musical mishaps? So, let us raise our glasses high, as well as our kazoos, and toast to the allophobes of the world. May they never encounter a flute-playing snake charmer, and may their ears always remain flute-free. After all, in a world as flute-tastic as ours, a little allophobia is nothing to blow out of proportion. And number 7 on our list of phobias is genophobia, the knee-knocking, joint-jangling fear of knees. Imagine a grown adult quaking in their boots at the sight of those innocent, bendy appendages we call knees. Yes, knees, the very things that allow us to sit, stand, and do the Macarena with relative ease. But for the genophobic individual, knees are nothing short of terrifying. In the grip of genophobia, every pair of legs becomes a potential battlefield, every bend of the knee a heart-stopping catastrophe waiting to happen. The mere thought of somebody bending their knee in their vicinity sends shivers down their spine, their own knees threatening to buckle under the weight of their own irrational fear. And social gatherings are a veritable obstacle course for the genophobic soul as they navigate the treacherous terrain of knee-infested environments with all the grace of a newborn giraffe on ice skates. They avoid eye contact with anyone daring to flaunt their bendy appendages, their hearts pounding like a drum solo in a heavy metal concert. But really, life is just a knee-slapping comedy of errors and absurdities. So, let us raise our glass and our legs high and toast to the genophobes of the world. May they never encounter a yoga class or a game of Twister, and may their knees remain forever unbent. Because in a world as kneeful as ours, a little genophobia is nothing to shake a leg at. Number 8 on our list of phobias is ergophobia, the gut-wrenching, palm-sweating dread of work. Yes, work, that 4-letter word that sends shivers down the spine of the ergophobic individual faster than you can say Casual Friday. Picture a grown adult huddled under the covers like a human burrito, desperately avoiding the inevitable call of the alarm clock. In the clutches of ergophobia, every Monday morning becomes a horror movie marathon, every office meeting a nail-biting thriller. The thought of tackling even the most mundane of tasks fills the ergophobic soul with existential dread, their minds conjuring images of paperwork avalanches and email tsunamis. And social gatherings become a circus of awkward small talk for the ergophobic individual as they navigate the treacherous waters of career-centric conversations with all the finesse of the office stapler. They feign interest in their friends' latest promotions, all the while plotting their escape to the safety of their couch and a Netflix marathon. But life is just a whimsical comedy of errors and workplace hijinks, so let's raise our coffee mugs high and toast to the ergophobes of the world. May they find joy in the occasional sick day and solace in the sanctity of the weekends. After all, in a world as work-filled as ours, a little ergophobia is nothing to clock out about. Number 9 on our list of phobias is gelatophobia, the side-splitting, belly-laugh-invoking fear of being laughed at. There are folks out there who would rather face a stampede of ticklish elephants than endure a hearty chuckle at their expense. Picture a grown adult sweating profusely at the mere thought of a knock-knock joke gone awry, their knees knocking like a drummer in a rock band. In the clutches of gelatophobia, every comedy club becomes a house of horrors, every stand-up routine a terrifying tightrope walk over a pit of laughter. The very notion of being the butt of a joke sends the gelotophobic individual into a tailspin, their minds conjuring images of ridicule and embarrassment. Social gatherings are veritable laughingstock for the gelotophobic soul as they navigate the treacherous terrain of witty banter with all the grace of a cat on a unicycle. They avoid eye contact with the resident jokester, their hearts racing like a sprinter at the starting line of a humor marathon. But what is life if not a slapstick comedy of errors and pratfalls? So, let us raise our glass and our whoopee cushions high and toast to the gelatophobes of the world. May they find solace in the absurdity of it all and laughter in the face of fear. But remember, in a world as laughter-filled as ours, a little gelatophobia is nothing to laugh off. Well, dear viewers, that brings us to our final phobia of this episode, Hippomonstrosis esquipedaliophobia, the tongue-twisting, dictionary-defying fear of long words. Yes, you heard it here first, folks. There are brave souls out there quaking in their boots at the mere mention of multisyllabic monstrosities. Imagine a grown adult trembling like a leaf in a wordy whirlwind, desperately clutching their pocket-sized dictionary for dear life. In the clutches of Hippomonstrosis esquipedaliophobia, every conversation becomes a linguistic tightrope walk. Every book a potential minefield of lexical landmines. The very thought of encountering a sesquipedalian sentence sends shivers down the spine of the Hippomonstrosis esquipedaliophobic individual, their tongues tying themselves into knots faster than you can say supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. And social gatherings become a veritable parade of linguistic acrobats as they navigate the treacherous terrain of polite conversation with all the finesse of a preschool English class. They avoid eye contact with the resident wordsmith, their hearts pounding like a drum solo in a symphony of syllables. But my friends, what is life if not a dictionary of delightful absurdities and linguistic gymnastics? So, let us raise our glass one final time and toast to the Hippomonstrosis esquipedaliophobes of the world. May their vocabulary always remain short and sweet, and conquer their fear one syllable at a time to emerge victorious in the battle of the lexicon. After all, in a world as wordy as ours, a little Hippomonstrosis esquipedaliophobia is nothing to be tongue-tied over. Well, friends, I hope you enjoyed episode 2 of my Phobias series as much as I enjoyed creating it. As always, I will be posting links to all of the show notes in the description on YouTube as well as on the Facebook page. I will be listing all of the phobias in order, and feel free to comment what your favorite phobia is. Does it terrify you, or does it make you laugh? And as always, if you or someone else you know is having a mental health crisis, please stop what you're doing. Reach out for help. There are individuals out there who are trained to help people like you and me in a crisis. I will also be providing links to those as well in the show notes. And remember, life is just a movie. And our minds, well, they're the twist we never saw coming. Bye.